When we met, we were like balanced. I did not know she was going to blow. It's not as if I didn't expect her to blow. The suddenness of the explosion was a lot over a very short period. So there were times I was like, guy, you are still a man.
We can't say this thing. Come on, God. Hi, I'm Ibukun.
Hi, I'm Temitayo. For me, I had a few. It's like when I was growing up. Okay, I had a few ideas of what I wanted my wife to be. So she met a lot of criteria for me. She's beautiful, yes. Then
Yes.
she's tall, she's athletic. I always found that amazing about her. Then, she used to play b-ball, basketball.
Back in the day, we're old
That
now.
explains the entire
We're
get-up.
old now.
It does not matter. Unfortunately, she does not play again. I wish she still did. Then there was the time I went to her house. I went with a couple of friends. They're into music in their house. They had the drum set, they had the piano, they had the entire get-up in the house. And we were choir boys. Went to the house and they were just singing and making melody. And I was like, "Hi God, this family is dope." That's what I thought. And I was like, I would like this kind of thing. As at that time, I didn't even think I was going to get married to her. The attraction was not yet there, but I'd already seen
When
the
was
picture
this?
in my mind. Tafte.
Oh yeah, because me, I've always liked you, so I don't know where.
Yes.
You have to catch up.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But we are here now.
We thank God.
Yeah.
He's very, very handsome. I've had a crush on him since my teenage years. Yeah, so I mean, when the time just came, I think pink lips and all of that, yes. Great.
For me, there was first you must wear engagement ring if I'm going to wear engagement ring.
Exactly.
There was first that part. So for me, I thought about it and I was like, let's just wear engagement ring and let her be happy. It wasn't, I thought about it for a bit. I really didn't care about what people would say first and foremost. Because I actually wore the ring proudly. There were some people that felt, a guy, especially in the office, they're like, guy, now you be man, why would you wear engagement ring? I was like, well, she's wearing, I'm wearing. We are going to get married. And the funny thing, my engagement ring was like shiny as in silver, dazzling ring. So a lot of people will see me and will just say, you didn't tell us you got married. I'm like, oh, it's engagement ring. And they will be like, guy. But I had a lot of schooling from the elderly people in the office, but I stuck to the ring. And
Yes.
I still like the ring. So for the picking out part, it was just, okay, I like this, we can afford this. This is what we like that we can afford. And that was it. So we just picked the 4 rings, the engagement ring. We picked everything that's single.
I think it brought us closer. We're always together. There wasn't any negative, more knacks obviously, but there was nothing negative. And lockdown, we moved to a new apartment, so.
But that was later in the
Lockdown, yeah.
I think for me, I realized that we could work in the same space, but initially there was a little friction. For me, I don't like noise when I'm working. For her, she can answer her phones on speaker and all that. So about that time there was a little friction. So I had to explain that, babe, in my own office we don't make noise. If people make noise, someone will come out and say, come on, what's going on here, guys? But for her office, they are like everybody, millennials, small children. So
no,
play is part of work for them. But we are quite serious about work. We take it personally. So I think for that's the beginning part. So we are like, we got through it. After
I got earphones.
Yeah, she got earphones. Yes, we can listen to your music to yourself, not. I don't need to share in the music.
Yeah, but that's the only friction. I can't even remember any friction really.
I think that was the only part.
Yeah.
Since we're both working in the same space.
Me, I like to be around him, or not like on him all the time, but like in the same space. Our workstations are a little apart from each other, but in the room. So I guess we're not. I enjoyed. So far, it's in my eye radar. Exactly. I'm okay.
She always needed to see me. Me, I felt initially I was like, okay, we can call this. You want to pick your phone on speaker and you want to make noise. Let me go to another one. So she felt no. They always want to be seeing you. And I was like, you're going to be seeing this man. Come on, you have to make adjustments. And she did. You know?
Yes.
I think that was like that was the thing.
We have a very strong bond and we communicate very well. So we rarely fight. So, and we're also very dependent on each other, right? So maybe the most challenging thing would probably be he had like a recent accident. Well, that was quite bad. So having to take care of him, like him depending on me for everything, was quite challenging. But I think because of the bond we have and share, it was very easy to go through like swiftly. Yes. So having to seeing him that low was a very low point for me. So, and apart from having to take care of him physically, having to also make sure that I was emotionally there for him too. And I mean, we used to switch. There were times I too was emotionally down because of what had happened, but then, so I think we're just a great mix of both emotional and physical strength. Yeah.
The accident part, considering that we used to do a lot of things together, we practically like split everything we do. We're like, come and help me with this, come on. So seeing her do like 100% of everything, and I was just lying down. It was, there were moments I felt very bad for her. I kind of blamed myself for the accident. She didn't make me feel that way though. I think that was one of the biggest things there. She took taking 100% of the burden. It was a lot.
Yeah, especially it's not what we're used to.
It wasn't what we're used to. So she did everything, because even having to go to the toilet, she had to like help me get there. It was a lot.
But we're fine.
We're fine. This is me now.
In what way? You need to specify fire, you know. We always make sure we revisit our stance on several things. So even if it's feminism, spirituality, everything, we revisit okay, so where are you on this? Where are you on that? And I think a great marriage will just, the byproduct of a great marriage will be great sex, really. Because if your marriage is one kind, the sex might be one kind, right? But if you can have great sex too, but rubbish marriage, but I think great sex is part of a great bond. So we have we communicate well, very well, I think we do. Yeah. And we always revisit our stance on it. The slightest thing, maybe a Twitter trend.
Yes.
And it will spiral into scenarios. So what if this happens to us? What are we going to do? So there are some things that happen now, and we've discussed it. So we already know, okay, so we just revisit, are we still good on this part or that part? Yeah. So that's what always makes the ginger there.
I think there was a time we used to do
monthly
reviews.
Yeah.
We did a lot of reviews. She asks, she can just randomly ask some funny questions, and I'm like,
Like, why do you like me? Random questions like that.
when we met, we were like balanced. I did not know she was going to blow. It's not as if I didn't expect her to blow. The suddenness of the explosion was a lot over a very short period. So it took, like, I don't know how to put it into terms. There were times I was like, guy, you know you are still the man of the house.
Wait, you can't say this to me. Come on, God.
Yeah, because there was always this, for me, I keep telling her that for every man, the dream of every man is, okay, let me just be able to like handle everything. Then my wife just chill. But even from the beginning when we started dating, there was a time she was like, babe, what if I decide to stop working today and I want to be baby girl for life? I was like, then this relationship is over. Because it don't work. Because in my head, I grew up in a family where there was a time where my dad, though he didn't lose his job, but they were not being paid, and the period was an extended period. It was like a year plus. I saw my mom step into the role of providers in 100%. We didn't lack for anything. We didn't lack anything in that period. So in my head, I already had this picture that come. If it's only the man that is earning, that what happens when things become low at that particular point in time? What happens to the family? Does the family survive? Do we like change accommodation, go and look for cheaper houses? And what do we do in those kind of situations? So already I knew I wanted a wife that would work. So her work started reaping serious fruits as the dividends were like pouring in, and at the time, okay, I realized that I didn't have to do so much, which for me I still felt it was still, because now she had more money, she could sort out more of the bills for the family and I could chill. So the chilling part was good. But then there will come the part where, okay, am I complacent? Am I letting her do too much? Should I still step up? Should I force myself to step up? Do I do blood money? All those things. So I think, but it's fine. It's fine. I am glad she's the one anyways, because there is this mindset some men have that they will say, okay, the moment the woman starts earning more, she will start riding the man and just berating the man, belittling the man and things like that. But in this case, it's not the case in our own situation here. It's the dynamic didn't change, basically.
Yeah, and we've had several conversations.
Yes,
around
the conversations around and around it. We just keep talking about it.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily like you said, when we even got married, we were basically earning the same thing. We were the same, right? So we've always been the same. So whether money is not a factor of whether our relationship is good or not, right? Money is just money, really, right? So I'm always telling him I got you. I'd always told him that he's not here to come and take care of me and all that. We're going to take care of each other. So whichever way, taking care of each other means, I always got him. I already told him that. So there is no intimidation at all. I'm always even asking him this question, actually.
True.
Okay. And he has said I should not put my clothes on the floor.
Okay, but you've actually stopped the law.
Yeah, so now I leave the door open. So I'll be closing the door.
Okay, we don't go out so much. Yes, I was going to mention that sometime. We don't go out. It's not church function. Or things like our first time doing stuff like this.
In a minute, yeah.
It's not. I remember the night of the accident. I went out with a couple of my friends, and because since moving to our new accommodation, we're just like cooked up in the house. We've been walking and it was the NSAS period, so we just felt come, stay in the house, do your work. The workload for me was a lot then, because in the office we were trying to like hit a milestone, so it was a lot of work. So we did not even join the NSAS movement. We didn't go out, we didn't go anywhere. So eventually I said, okay, I want to like hang out with friends. I was to say, excuse me, Jesus. I wanted to like hang out with a couple of friends that like stay around. And then I went out, I saw a couple of places and I like sent her a message and I was like, babe, I think we need to start exploring all these places.
That's what we're going to. That's the next phase, really. More travel, more going out,
more like vacations,
more vacations. Yes. I have a theory there. But is marriage overrated? It's going to be a minute. So I think for me, I would just say stay in the middle. People think marriage is the best thing that can happen to anyone, or people think marriage is so important that if you don't do it, there's one part of your life that, or you will not fulfill your destiny and all of that. I'm a believer, right? And the two people that are the epic center of the Christian faith, Jesus Christ and Paul the Apostle, who taught or wrote 3/4 of the New Testament, were not married. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not that important. However, if you, as humans, you want companionship and all of those things, right? And you want to, yes, exactly. Yes. If you say you want to do it the Lord's way and you want to, have sexual relations, yes, that's for me. I used to say at the time when we're trying to get married, that the only thing that is going to make us do the marriage ceremony, that spend money, do engagement, do all of those things, is so that we can have legitimate intercourse. Every other thing we had before marriage or wedding, which were best friends, were companions, were, for the lack of better word, soulmates, and all of that. So yeah, that's my theory. It's yes and no for me.
I would also like to sit on the fence on this one. I don't think it's do or die. Personally, I don't think it's compulsory, unless both parties believe that we need to do this. Nobody will beat anybody. I think in this part of the world, we still have this thought that if, especially the lady, that if the lady is not married, that she has not accomplished a certain thing. It's not right. It's not true at all. If the woman wants to pursue life as a single person, please pursue it. The guy too, if you want to be single all your life and be the best in whatever you are doing, see, you are fine. That is my opinion on that. I don't think it's compulsory. Because we get to this phase in our lives at one particular point in time that everybody's asking you, so when am I meeting her? When are you bringing Baluma Mokowale? All those things, it's unnecessary pressure. It has led some people to do things they would not naturally do, because I've listened to some people go on and on how they regretted getting married, and it's a lot. And for me, those people were not, first, maybe they were not with the right person, or they were not with the right partner, or maybe they didn't just need to get married.
Yeah, I also believe that if it wasn't him, I'll probably still be single by now. Talk. My advice for intending couples is to talk. Talk a lot. Ask questions, beliefs especially. I mean, yeah, Christian, great, but what exactly are your tenets of faith? What do you believe? Because tiny things like that can spiral into things that don't make sense. Talk about money, talk about sex, and talk about expectations that Exactly. So more talking, less gallivanting around.
I think that's like the best way to go about it. I think for us now, let me just say, for me in the relationship phase, I think she was more paranoid in the good way, and she was more deliberate about the questions she was asking, and it helped me too, because I realized that she had like done a lot of research, she had spoken to a lot of people, she had read books, so there were some books she gave me to read, and there were some videos too that she sent to me to like watch, and so I realized that okay, you don't just rush into marriage. It sounds cliche, yes, but if you're going to like read to pass the exam,
Yeah.
marriage, so you should do a lot of study about it. I think if you study about it enough, you will even know if you want to get involved
Yeah, exactly.
at all.
Yeah.
You will know if you want to get involved at all, because we see on social media, like basically you see all these godwen people, you just see some people that are catching trips. It's all well and good, but see, that's the questions part, please. It's like major. Ask plenty questions, talk to each other, because they were okay. My mother-in-law is in the house now, her mom is in the house. She's a fantastic person, she gives us our space, she's fun to talk to. But before she came, we already had this discussion that okay,
Yeah.
how do we deal with family?
Exactly.
When should family come to the house?
Yeah, exactly.
Should family come to the house at all? We're talking relationship time.
2017.
We're not married then, but we had covered a lot of bases. Majorly thanks to her, anyways. But we had covered a lot of bases. So I think that communication part, it's just major for me. Like I always say, okay, I keep saying it, that even though sometimes I don't tell you, I say it to myself. That I'm happy you were the one, really. I'm glad that you were the one, and you are the one. Because for me, I don't see it working out with any other person.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see it working out with any other person.
Yeah. Yeah, the absolute love of my life.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.